Welcome to the Everyday Magic Podcast. I'm Anya Rock.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Trivena.
We've been best friends for 25 years, united by the belief that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find the magic. Join us every week as we dive into our most intimate conversations about sex, money, intuition, and building our company, Sofanya, a merger of our names and the best of us. All right, goddess. Well, should we roll in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. You want to pull a card?
Yes, it's been a while.
Yours or the rose deck?
One of each?
Sure.
For this episode, a card for this episode.
Yeah, well, we kind of know what we want to share. We have an idea.
Yeah, what are we doing a card for then?
I don't know, just because. What do we need to know about what we're sharing?
That's it. Yeah, I got a card as soon as you said that.
Open, say yes, expand through the extremes, trust life.
Ooh. Okay, building this company has been expanding through the extremes, trust life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. We literally just took a friend of ours down to an apartment to show her in this building. And she's like, it's a stretch. And I was like, wow. And I moved in here for the first year. I woke up in panic attacks about, can I pay rent this month? And I'm like, in year 2, I'm easily paying rent and way more every month. I'm like, you came to LA to actualize dreams. And she just got here from out of country. And she was like, you're right. I'm going to really try to make it work. And we like glowed our goddess love to her. And we were like, you can do this, goddess. Live your dream. Let it be a stretch. So I feel like we just literally did that a minute ago and then sat down.
Yeah. And as you started to say, like, this whole creating Sofanya has been a stretch. Creating this podcast was a stretch. Everything to be open to the possibilities, to trust. I mean, so many times we've called each other and been like, we have, it's one of the ethos that we both carry, the looking for the magic, the trusting in the unknown, the willingness to step out into what seems impossible, to take optimistic faith any day over, realistic fear, allows us to be in a space where we're building this company and in so many ways taking the best of who we are and what we've known and what we've accomplished and in so many ways learning on the go in the moment about how to bring a product to market in this environment in LA while we're doing other things, writing a book, publishing books, hosting events, raising 2 children, going through a divorce, like
retreats, going to different countries. Yeah. I mean, we really were guided to do this, and we said,
yes. No wonder we haven't found the man who can like.
Where is he?
I'm just like, tell me again how busy you are. You're overwhelmed,
right? Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well,
what's your card?
My card is rebirth.
Ooh.
You have been through the fire to release that all is no longer aligned. Word. I mean, it's been a continual purification for the whole time I've been here.
Yeah.
The worst is behind you. So look forward, rise into an era of empowerment. I mean, Sofanya is an era of empowerment.
It's everything we stand for.
It's literally everything we stand for.
Empowerment of
rituals to move through the fire, to celebrate and rise into authentic expression and everything you came here to be.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Beautiful.
Love that.
And we have beautifully navigated so many, I mean, I think it's a testament to who we are as friends and as women and, as individuals and in this braiding of our energies to create Sofanya, to bring in and seed the goddess council of women who are investors, this energy that we hold, how you and I both check in daily, right? And do our own individual spiritual work and then collectively come together to create this. And we've navigated so many pivots, so many delays and things that could, pull the wheels off for so many people.
And yet most people,
oh, well, there must be a reason.
Yeah, we use all of our principles.
I guess we're being guided to not have this happen so we can do this. What should we do next? What do you think? Why is it?
Yes.
And there's been, I think it's really worth kind of going on, talking about some of them because I think they're fascinating from a pulling back the curtain on what it is to build a business like this in this environment as 2 women And there's just a lot of micro decisions we make on the daily that we're not necessarily sharing with the world yet that I think
are worth sharing.
Interesting, are
I think so
fascinating.
too. They're juicy. I think it's totally juicy. And there's a few reasons I'm really glad you brought this up, this idea. But as soon as you said it, it resonated with me for a few things. First of all, I was an entrepreneurial and business professor, and I know a lot of what education is out there about how to run businesses, et cetera. I was given $100,000 by the state of Hawaii to create a business accelerator where we literally designed a program to have people come in and create businesses. And I feel like what we are doing, there's nothing out there that offers how we do this. And any glimpse we could give to anyone that's entrepreneurial, even in making decisions about your family or about your academics, anyone that has to make decisions for life that matter, we have figured out, we've cracked some codes in the time we've been together. We did it before we started this business together. We helped each other over the years in our 26 years of friendship. But I feel like your business savvy and my business savvy come from different places, but they're both in their own way incredible and proven. And then putting them together at the level of intuition and decades of expertise we have in midlife at this point has created something that I feel like if anyone actually knew what we'd figured out, if we figured out how to package it, it's just really one of the most interesting paradigms of business that I've ever heard of or seen. And we created it on the fly, but it's been marinating in us this whole time. And now we finally get to apply it. And as every time we come up to a choke point, we innovate and we come up with something else. And now it's turned almost into protocol because we're now a year and a half into it. So I don't know how we can possibly do this in this episode, but I say we try to share some of the magic.
Yeah. I mean, I think just we've touched on a few along the way. We talked about the pivoting to the bottles, I think, on an episode where we talked about, the tariffs. And I think there's a process that is organic to us, but maybe not to others.
That's my point. Yes.
In this sort of the way that we operate from the divine feminine, from intuition, using our intellect.
Yeah.
It's that merging of the two, of the masculine and the feminine.
Right.
Of being able to receive information that might seem like it's going to derail our plan. And we take it and say, okay, what does this mean? How do we change? Let's talk about, we just came off talking about our morning and evening routines, our incredible tonics, if you watched an episode on that. But that was a pivot in itself. That was really recently. First we were going to do a protein shake
The
originally.
Tonics were going to be a protein shake. No, the AM was going to be a protein shake and the PM was going to be sleep gummies.
Yes.
And that's how it's been for like a year.
Yeah. And then we could not find a protein. We just couldn't seem to find the right formulation to get a taste and texture that we liked.
And for the sleep gummies, same thing. We couldn't get all the supplement that we wanted in the PM into anything less than
It seemed like we just kept getting
so many gummies.
No, like it's not quite right. And now we're delayed. And we were like, okay, well, we trust the delay. It's allowing us to do other things, like formulate the body oil, create all these other products. It gave us a lot of time to do iterations.
That's an art in itself, by the way, is knowing when something lags or isn't moving. Sometimes that means stop it, and other times it means let it be the process that it is, right? And we just kept getting, let this play out. Let's explore another company. Let's explore another try. Let's explore another flavor. Let's explore a snack pack where you get a whole bunch of gummies before you go to bed because there's so many, but maybe that's fun. Like we kind of went down a bunch of things and we never could get a clear intuitive answer, which just meant it wasn't time to have the answer yet.
Right.
And I'm very comfortable with the I don't know place and the iterating.
I feel like we need to tell the story of the gummies and just even like going on that journey.
Oh my God. We've never talked about it. That was crazy. Okay. So I'm at the gym and I overhear someone say, literally, yeah, we make creatine gummies. And I'm like, what? We have that ingredient in our thing, in our formula. What do you mean you make gummies? He's like, yep, I work with everyone in the country and we are the best. And here's why. And I said, fascinating. There's a reason you're on my path and I'm overhearing this. So he said, yep, meet my business partner. I met his business partner for brunch. Everything sounded good. They did feel like they are the best in the country probably to do it. When I asked all my manufacturing savvy questions and they answered them all with glowing results. And so then it was like, next step is you need to meet Áine, of course. So then I call you and I'm like, these guys are hosting a gathering tonight And they
Suspicious. Gathering
at a penthouse in West Hollywood, and they want us to come over and meet all the collective. And it's the people that make the gummies, and it's also the people that supply ingredients for the gummies that are gathering from all over the world.
Right.
So what was your experience of that party?
Well, we walk in. Turns out a lot of what they make are weed gummies.
They had told me
walk
that.
into this beautiful penthouse that they don't own. They're like, oh, we're just at our friend's house. We're like at this, borrowing our buddies. And
I felt like we
walked into like a cloud of smoke.
And we're like, interesting. And everyone was like, I felt like they were like the Gen Z millennial captains of industry. They were like, yeah, I'm from India, and my family's been making cinnamon for 5 generations, and we have the best cinnamon in the world, and we put them in the gummies. And the next person was like, I'm from Malaysia, and my family's been making, green tea things, whatever. Everyone had their expertise from around the world.
Yeah, they were all very international, very accomplished.
And very lovely, very
interesting,
smart, very kind. Yeah, very interesting. And they'd all been friends for years.
Yeah.
And they've been gathering and making products together. They're like literally captains of industry. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all, it was hilarious.
It was hilarious. We were both on the ride. We're like, let's go. Yeah. Let's do this.
So he's like, we'll come outside and let's sit down. Let's talk shop.
So we went outside to get down to business.
Yeah.
And we drilled him with questions. Yeah. But what about this? But what about this many? Like, how do you get this much in the creatine? Or how do you get that much creatine in a gummy? How do you get the other supplements? What about when you mix these two? Because we had learned so much over the year. And he had answers for everything. And then we heard, I feel like, the thing that changed everything. And he's like, well, a gummy is like people wanting to eat candy.
Right. And he had suggested a snack pack.
Yeah.
Right. He was like, well, people really want to eat this like candy before bed. And we're kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he said that, do you know that most people, when asked, admit that they take more than they need just to eat more candy? And I was like, actually.
And not just weed gummies.
Yeah, no, we were talking about supplements. And I was like, I've done it. I feel like, yeah, I've done that. So we look at each other, we're like, yeah, it's probably true. And then we turn back to him and he's like, but I'm like, why can't we put more in it?
Ingredient.
And he's like, you can't have more, that like 70% of it has to be real gummy, and you can only get up to 30% of supplement. And I was like, I've been eating like 10, 15 gummies a night that are mostly gummy, which means I'm eating a handful of gummies.
You went immediately to calculate how many extra calories of gummy.
I was like, no wonder this extra. I thought it was menopause. It says these 5 extra pounds. We walked out and we were like, I don't think the gummies are candy.
Right.
Like all of a sudden I was like,
Do we want to give our clients a snack pack of candy every night?
No. We just couldn't do it. And what's the pivot? And then this is what I love about us. We're both willing to go on the ride. We're both willing to have fun with it. We had a blast. We hung out afterwards too, and we talked with everyone. And one of that really nice woman with the dress from Milan, she's coming to my event and bringing friends. Yeah. Like, it was lovely. And then we were like, what I love about us is a lot of people would be like that. Well, I've done business with a lot of people, and they would be like, what are we going to do now? This is stressful thing. We got to call people. We have to have a meeting in the morning.
Right. I think the next day I was like, do you kind of feel like maybe we're not supposed to do gummies?
And I was like, yeah, slept on the gummy thing, done with the gummies. Yeah.
What's next?
And then what I love about us is that we can tell, and this is the art that I think we have, is that we're marinated in our friendship for 26 years. We've traveled together. We've cried together. We've celebrated, we've done all the things together. I feel like we both have a sense in the moment, without needing to go on a long journey, is that we both are knowing, we know what we know and we know what we don't know. We know we're done with gummies, and we are like, but we don't have the answer yet. Let's be curious and just see what comes to us. And we let it go in that moment. Like, I don't remember us getting obsessive about it or feeling like we needed to figure it out, even though it's a big deal. And we'd put a year down the other path. And I just remember going, let's see what else. And then the next thing I remember, which I think was within 48 hours, is that both of us were like, there's tonics everywhere, like they're around.
We went on a walk.
Oh, tell me what you remember.
I remember we went on a walk the next morning. We were both like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah, I heard that. Okay, something else. And then we started, it feels like how my experience of how we do it is we kind of pull what's coming to us,
in the field,
in the conversations. I had been traveling. I had been talking to people. I'm always sharing about Sofanya, what's coming. And I had brought up the nerve tonic and got people just like, what? Tonic? Tell me more. Nerve tonic? And I said, why what are we missing? Like, what's around us? What are we missing? What does it need to be? We went to intuition. And I think there's something about our walks when we're doing it and we're kind of communing with the West Hollywood nature.
When we go in those neighborhoods, all of a sudden the flowers are talking to us. There's a bee on that flower. Let's stop and look at it. It's got a message.
We have stopped and looked at the plant and said, like, there's a message.
There's a message
in
here.
The water sitting on top of the leaf.
Yeah. Oh, look at that drop. That's not random.
We're meant to get money a different way. We're meant to change.
I know. We're like, look at the bee's going to all the different flowers, but there's one that's open and there's one that's closed, but he's hanging out there, but the flower's not opening. Why are you there, bee?
What's my motto of us? Like, there's never not meaning.
Yeah.
Always means something.
And then we'll be musing on something and we'll get sparked by something and we'll be like, and you'll say something, we're missing something. Like, so we're not doing gummies and we're doing this protein shake. Is it another shake? And I'm like, I'm even questioning the shake.
Then we talked about a smoothie topper.
Yeah, we talked about a topper that you would add. We were
kind of like, why do we even need to top it? Why don't we had both found an amino acid supplement.
You found it.
I found it. Gave it to me.
And the reason is because I had gone vegan.
Yes.
And I was withering away and you said, take this. And
I went into the store and I was looking for amino acids and he said, well, do you know about this one? Because this one is even better than the other ones because it's the precursor to all the things.
Here we are again. This precursor to the building blocks in the body is the adaptogenic nature of things.
And you started taking it.
And it blew me away.
And it's like you scoop it in. There's so many things that we're all scooping into our water.
Yeah.
And I remember also going with our friend Tara and watching her pour a packet in that night into water before she went to bed. And I was like, why are we not it's so simple.
And when I had been staying at Tara's when she was away and it got delivered and I brought the box in and read the box and I was like, what is this? So this is what I mean. Mm-hmm. Things start to come around us. Mm-hmm. I'm all of a sudden seeing it at Tara's and then I have it in my hand because you sent it to me. I'm like, why did this come to me twice? And then I put it in and I'm like, water is delicious with this. And I'm getting hydrated and it's not more calories and it's.
Right. And it's so simple. We just take a scoop, pour it in water. You have a tonic, you drink it. Yeah. It's so not complicated. The simplicity is so beautiful.
Yeah. And when I had been, I talked about doing the sleep supplements and a bunch of women doing them with me during COVID, we'd sit there with like my stomach full and my esophagus even hurt from taking all of those at night.
Take 20
it was
pills.
Horrible, but but the results were so great that I was doing it. And I just remember lying in bed going, this can't be it. This can't be it. What's another option? What's another option? Never occurred to me to order powders and
scoops.
So then I called it a nerve tonic and we just used that as a working title. And I remember we're like, that's not going to be the title of it. But then we mentioned it to people and they're like, ooh, nerve tonic. Ooh, nerve tonic. And someone had said to us that we really respect, you guys are sort of like the angelic apothecary. And I'm like, there's sort of an apothecary thing about a nerve tonic. There's something timeless.
And what is it about the apothecary? What is resonant about that word?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Or angelic apothecary. Because this is one that really, it landed for both of us differently and it landed, but it did land. We both were like.
We've never talked about this. Good point. When she came back and she had interviewed us about each of us individually and Sofanya, she came back and said, and what I loved about it is that I feel like apothecary is ancient. It is probably been, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of years. I haven't done the research on this goddess. I know, I ashamed. But it feels to me, what lands to me is hundreds of years of wisdom are baked into what you find in an apothecary. It's handed down, lived experiential wisdom, which I feel like we've lost. And I feel like it has value, but not at the value of not having science. And then I also feel like I don't want to be with just science and I don't want to be with just lived wisdom and I don't want to be with just the angels. I want to be with all of them. When you put my lived wisdom together with angelic guidance and what was the last one? Science.
Been a long day. You forgot science?
Did we record that? Is science hurt? We have a deep relationship.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So I like all three. And I wouldn't want life without any of them. And life is the best when all three of them are there. So I feel like
they're all pillars of our company.
So much so. Yeah.
Right? I mean, we like life with all of them. And also we're building this company using all of them.
Yeah.
Understanding they all have value. And when woven together, it's stronger than one
it's
single.
A braid.
Yeah.
Saying a braid is stronger than a strand.
Right.
Much like you, me, and Sofanya.
Right.
I always say we're a braid. We each have our own strengths individually, but we weave together to be even stronger. So that's when I saw Angelic Apothecary. That's what it landed to me.
Yeah. And that pivot informed the bottles, and that's informed, that note has informed so many of our, small and bigger pivots.
Sure.
And then we were in a marketing meeting with someone who we've brought on to mentor us in marketing and how to launch this into the world. And she was asking us about, what's the differentiator of the product that when you come to market. And in that conversation, I feel like we had also this kind of aha moment about combining the lines so that we are beauty and wellness, and we're coming out with these waves of a morning and an evening and how they work together and why they work together to create this holistic effect. It's body, it's skin, it's nervous system, it's support for inner and outer, it's morning and evening, it's the whole symbiotic piece.
Yeah, and I feel like we have been grappling with, are we coming out with just skincare first? Are we coming out with the protein shake later and sleep gummies later, or sleep gummies first? Or should we have a skincare come out with a sleep gummy? Like, we had been with all these permutations of possibilities. And she, she's brought her own beauty brand to market and then runs programs and mentoring and consulting out of New York to bring lots of beauty brands. So she's just our favorite expert in this field. And she was like, really talk to your market. So we did a survey with 33 women, I think, replied, which I think is fascinating, the number. And they said the biggest thing that's challenging them is fitting everything into an overwhelmed, stressed out, burned out life.
Right. This burnout, this overwhelm, the lack of presence.
Yes. Like, literally everything that we do addresses those things. And it was really, we can just say Aggie. I'm sure Aggie was just like, why don't you lead with the sleep, or with the tonic, the nerve tonic, the tonics? And we were like, wow, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
So then we went back to manufacturing and said, how fast are each one of these going to be ready? And so it's an interesting thing. We may have the body oil and the sleep tonic ready to go. We may have those two plus 3 more, plus 2 more skincare and the AM tonic. We might have it all. We might have 5 SKUs that we launch with. We might have an AM, PM launch. We're going to know soon because we're launching very soon. It's kind of like watching a race and seeing which one. But the interesting thing is, I'm confident that they're going to finish in the order they're meant to. Like,
well, right. I was going to say, like, even when you said the word grappling, like, we are not grappling in the sense of muscling through it. We know that there are other factors and things being guided, and we're like, well, which one will come forward at the right time? We might have preferences, and we'll say, okay, we'd really like these two to come together. But there's so many factors and there's so many pieces, and the trust is what's underlying all of it, that we are.
Trust in the process.
Yeah.
I believe we both totally trust the process, and we're staying very in tune to when things feel off and on. Like, even though we saw that these things were taking their time and the waters kept getting muddied over and over, and it was like, why, you could be really frustrated. Like, why isn't this working? But when we felt into it, we're like, there's some reason for this. There's some reason for the delay, the timing. And when I asked the angels, they were like, we're trying to slow down the process so that all the pieces can weave. You can get the podcast going. You can get the branding done. You can get the website built. I mean, I've had a wave come fast and all the pieces have to be done at once, and it almost killed me.
Well, and we got this guidance really early about, and it may have been in conversation in the early parts of our.
When we were guided to make the company, we kept meeting every day and going to the angels and asking more and more questions. And we got a lot of guidance of pillars, of principles to use through the whole journey.
And we also got this, and maybe it was from Aggie, I can't remember, but it was this idea of, like, you're going to, like, have enough that you're able to test, and then you're going to have, but once you have the big wave, you have to be ready for the big wave.
That's been coming from a lot of different directions.
So, like, make sure that you have the wave ready and your website's ready. It's like all the pieces that you need to prepare for this massive wave. We all want it. We're like, oh, I want massive success and I want the massive wave, but there's so many parts that have to be ready for that to happen. And I feel like we have been, just trusting that it's happening in the right timing.
Yeah.
And trusting that we're building the foundation so we're ready and our respective worlds, and the braid is ready,
Yeah.
and Sofanya's world is ready.
Well, when I led the sustainability movement that I led in Hawaii, I wrote a book called Surfing Tsunamis of Change, a handbook for change agents. And it was literally about the wave of change coming and working with the flow to prepare for. So it was literally like I did that with a movement, and people would look at it from the outside and think everything I had done, it was so strategic because it all came together so beautifully and perfectly timed. Like our Taylor Swift episode coming out when she was between announcing her newest album and her engagement. It just happened that their episode came out. Like that's beyond, right? The beyond is taking care of us there. That happened for me in Hawaii for 10 years with a movement, and people saw it as a beautiful orchestra piece that has all the pieces in place, but I was guided to each piece of the mosaic before the whole picture formed. And then when I was traveling around the world, it's the same thing. There was an art to the guidance and the slowness and the rapidness and all of it, right? So I feel like doing that with a company where we're going for an actual real multi-million-dollar company to show that this model of the feminine way of the flow, and I have it as my WhatsApp little motto. It's like, nature doesn't hurry, yet all gets accomplished. It's allowing this organic emergence. But what I really love about doing it together is that we both work this way individually and always have to an extent. We've been refining it our whole lives, and now we're bringing it together with this application. And I really feel like it comes down to staying with each moment and each decision and feeling into it and being okay that we don't know yet. And also trusting. This is where the trust comes in, that the answer is going to come, and there'll be a time where we look at each other and we know. And it could be through signs, could be through a dream. You've called me and said, oh my God, I just had this insight. We need to do this. I'm like, we totally need to do that. That's exactly right. So sometimes one of us just gets an intuitive hit. Sometimes we go into the angels, we ask to be shown. And sometimes it's time to go and do research, or you'll say, this is something we have to ask our experts. We need to ask the manufacturing. We need to ask Aggie. And I'm like, that feels right. And I'll be like, I feel like in your network, you know someone in marketing that has the answer for us. And I'm like, no, this isn't an answer out in marketing. We need to ask the angels. Or I'll be like, it doesn't feel even that. I feel like we need to leave it and just see what the field shows us. That, whatever that is, that's our magic. And I don't know.
And that is surrounding ourselves with the best, knowing what we don't know. Right?
The best support team.
Yep, the best support team, right? The people who are the best at what they do.
We have the best in the nation, if you ask me.
And then knowing when it's beyond what any of us know, going to the angels, going to intuition, and then also knowing when it's not meant to be known yet. I think those are, just to name what you were just saying, like and then knowing which one it is in the moment.
That's it. It's a total dance. And both of us just having the savvy and the trust in ourselves and each other and I'll just say to you, I'm not clear right now. And you're like, well, I have a full yes on it. And I'm like, I just need it. It just doesn't feel clear to me. We'll both do that.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
The angels did tell us some things. They said, you'll have exactly what you need when you need it. That was one of the principles they gave us early in the game. If you remember this, you'll have exactly what you need when you need it. And
Which is not to say that we have what we want when we need it.
Oh, we have not had what we wanted when we needed it, for sure.
Yeah.
But with our Goddess Council investors, the women that have come in with the next investment have come in one at a time. They haven't come in as a group or anything. And we're literally, we spend the money that comes in on the marketing and the things and the development. And then as it starts, and we're creating the plan of what we'll do with the next funding that comes in, and literally as one ends and we have the plan ready to go and we refine it and literally the money comes in just as it's time to enact the plan over and over and over. So we keep making plans, and once they're right, the money comes, and we keep refining because we know that nature doesn't water a dead root. And if we try to do things that are not nourishing to Sofanya, and because our mind tells us or someone told us, the money's not going to come. But we know if we get it right and it's what the flow really wants, the flow will bring the money. And we've done this over and over. And I think that's a huge art. Huge art. So it's fun to share some of these. I hope, I don't know, what would you want, to wrap this up maybe, what would you want people to walk away with this, from this? What would you?
Well, we've always set out to be, I think we've set out to be the example of how to do business differently. I believe that's true of our early mission and our vision of Sofanya, to take the best of us, to merge it together, to take our strengths and build on them, and also we both had a vision of, other people who want to build a business centering the divine feminine, being able to really see us and read about your expertise and everything you've did your PhD on, and we're the living, breathing example of it.
Sure.
So I think that is very much in our roots, in our foundation, and that's all grand and sounds good, but this is the mechanics of it, right? These are the moments, those micro things that come up where we're like, oh, why is the scent wrong? Or why does it have these things in it that we didn't think were there? And what journey does that take us on? And how we show up to that journey.
Yeah.
And I think what I'd want someone who's got a dream of building a company or, shifting the way that they currently do business to bring into harmony the masculine and the feminine. The masculine is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And in our society and many of our experiences, it's all we know. We haven't brought in the divine feminine. And so we're in that example of using nature and this, even what you just said, like nature, it all gets done, doesn't rush. I would love for people to be able to really see beyond it being theoretical.
Oh, sure.
And really see the nuances and this is us creating even more lived wisdom for, we're going to come out of this
and talk about what we did
and
for
talk
a long
about what
time.
we did and share. And
that's how the movement in Hawaii happened, is we took one building and we did everything we could do to make it sustainable. And we did all these tests and studies and projects, and we measured everything. And we were like, before we did this is how much water the building used. Now this is how much it used. Before we did this is how much electricity. And that case study, I talked about it for the next 10 years. I was flown to Harvard to talk about it. I was given a global champion award by the global, educator.
I've always seen us standing on stages sharing how we as founders built this.
Right.
And as you were talking, I just remembered the day that we sat in my apartment, and I believe it was the day that there were all of the protests here in LA, and we built the manifesto for our foundation on that day for our nonprofit.
Yeah, because we were thinking about protesting. We were really thinking about it. And I said, well, let's tune in.
Yeah.
Like, how can we be, what do we do? And what I saw was like, oh, we have something that addresses this, but it's not in the streets. If we're not out there in the streets, we need to get the foundation. And we spent the day and got the whole blueprint. We downloaded it. We asked tons of questions to the angels. We looked at it from every angle. And by the time we were done, I remember we went to Jones, sat at the bar, and it was done. And we messaged it to ourselves and we're like, we have the blueprint. Yeah. So that those types of things, everything we do, we're really paying attention to the sacred rhythm of things. We're like, oh, this is a day we should really focus on this. This is feeling really alive.
There's something powerful happening, or we're going to use the energy of what's happening, the eclipse, the full moon, the new moon, right?
Me arriving in Mexico while you're at a retreat, and I get there at 11 p.m. and someone sitting beside me on the plane had given me an investor magazine, and I get there at 11 and you just came back from a sound bath, and I'm like, you're staying up.
I'm like, night.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you're staying up with me. I'm making this magazine. I just saw it. It's alive in me. My hands can't stop moving. And you stayed up with me till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and we finished it.
We made a beautiful investor magazine, and then we
got investors from it. Yeah. So we just ride the waves when they're there, and we don't force it when it's not there. Right. Like when we use the word should, we don't do it. I'm like, oh, we should really film this. And we're like, I just don't feel it. So we don't for weeks and weeks. But then when we do film it, it's perfect and it's magical. And it's like, it happened at the exact same time our website got finished. Like there was no time earlier. It would have worked anyways. So the not forcing is a big thing. And the art of knowing when it's time to break through and when it's time to not force, those can feel similar. But I feel like the seasonedness of us individually and together allows that nuance. And the efficiency. And
we're both doing it in our own micro, right, in our own lives and in the company at the same time. Yeah. Practicing. We're practicing. We're refining. We're amplifying by being in each other's field.
Absolutely. And I feel like
get yourself a bestie business partner is
an intuitive and super pragmatic business savvy. That's a pretty rare combo and awesome. But I feel like when people see the dance of the two together, there'll be a lot more, a lot more of those. Yeah. And then when we asked like what would be the takeaway of what we would
Yeah,
wish
what do you
for,
wish that from your perspective, what would you like people to take from it?
you know what's interesting that came up for me instantly, which I was really surprised and I've never thought before? I feel like, I was a mechanical engineer at IBM. I was a professor. I was like, I did a lot of men type things. And I was in rooms where there was only men and I was the only woman many times.
Mhm.
I actually love the minds and energy and focus and efficiency of men.
Mhm.
I love men. I love the masculine and the way the masculine works.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's gotten, I'm not talking about misogyny and I'm not talking about the talk, but I'm saying, I feel like when you take the feminine away and the masculine is left alone, it can be really teetery and lose its life and be stagnant and get a really bad rap.
Mhm.
And I feel like I would love to see the glory of the masculine when accompanied by the feminine. Like, I feel like when you have rooms where both are there and using their assets together and their skills together, it's better for the men.
Mhm.
I know it's better for the women. We've been shouting that from the
Sure.
rooftops. But I really felt like we need to know what masculine is when it's harmonized with the feminine, because the masculine, when it's left alone, struggles and gets demonized.
And the same is true on an individual level. If we talk about just the energetics of the divine masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
right? We can talk about it within each of us having those energies, and then we can talk about it within, a man and a woman, or masculine and feminine that way too.
Or a boardroom.
Or a boardroom, right?
So that's a great point. So what I'm experiencing personally on this journey is that my mega masculine got put away for a number of years when I was being a painter and a dancer and a poet in Portugal, right? But I'm getting to bring my masculine back deep in spreadsheets, right? Deep in slide decks, like deep in matrices of decision making. But the masculine in me is coming back in the feminine. He's being welcomed back to her within myself. And I'm getting to experience that part of me, not in an engineering classroom where all we do is do trillions of equations with 200 men around me and I'm the only woman. That's how I experienced the masculine before. And I felt its power and I learned its power, but it was not the same as getting to bring it to the table where we're also using an intuition. And it's, my intuition's telling me to work on the spreadsheet today. It's different. So I just feel like I wish that for the world. I do love a spreadsheet.
Do you remember I told you there was a time when we were in between, we were kind of waiting for our next investor to step forward. And I remember talking to Christina, our astrologer, and she was like, I feel like the reflection she had was that we were both really in our feminine. She's like, I feel like one of you needs to step into the masculine. And within a few weeks, I had met our next investor, and it was like, I also invited the masculine back into my own experience of like, it's like you always say, like we are always on this pendulum of back and forth. And then when we find the harmony of like bringing both together, there's so much beauty. And the journey can be on that pendulum of like, I had been in my masculine, then I went into my feminine. I remember vividly that conversation of being like, yeah, what if I did really invite that masculine part back in and step forward into some conversations, and then within a couple weeks we had met our next investor.
Yep, I feel this too.
Really interesting.
Yeah, there's been points where I'm like, when we tune in, like, what do we do to really have our next investor? And the next investor has actually been a motivator for us to get very masculine because we need to actually have money. But then when we meet them, it goes back into the feminine because they come into the goddess council and we go to the new moon and full moon with the angels. So it dances back and forth. And I just love that when we have decided, like, I remember our very last investor I met because I went to a conference and then ended up connecting with an old friend because of it. That was how that happened. But I remember going to that conference and setting an intention, like, I need, and we need to connect with who's next for Sofanya. It's time. And what do I need to do? And I go to that conference, what time to arrive, where to go, what table. And the last thing I heard at that conference was a woman on stage saying, I dare you to manifest $10,000 by tomorrow morning. I dare you. She said, think of $100,000 of value you can offer for $10,000 and have it in your bank tomorrow morning. Literally, within 15 minutes, I met 2 women who wanted to talk to me, and they both signed on for 3 hours at $5,000 each. And then the next morning, I had $10,000 in the bank. And then I was like, okay, whatever this just happened, I want our next investor. And by the end of the week, we had our next investor. And yesterday, when we saw 666, which means ask the angels for help with your material needs, we intuited the amount to ask, and we asked for $500,000. And that's the kind of masculine.
Stay tuned.
That's the kind of masculine that brings it. But it's not the masculine without the feminine. The feminine intuition guided us to ask for that number. Like your masculine said, we need actual money. Then my feminine said, well, we can't just say any arbitrary amount. It has to work with nature. Here's the amount. And then we used our masculine to say yes to it. Does that make sense? We're always doing that dance. So anyways, what I really feel is not just bringing the divine feminine to the forefront, but the harmonization of the divine feminine and masculine, and what that we were all meant to be that inside and in everything we create, especially our systems and especially business. I think that's what I'll be most excited about talking about.
Awesome.
Good place to leave it?
Yeah,
that's great. Can't wait.
Thanks, Goddess.
Thank you, Goddess. Exciting times.
Very soon we'll
Very
have some
soon.
products to be celebrating.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the journey with us. We'd love to have you as part of the ongoing conversation. Join us on our socials at Sofanya Beauty and join our email community at sophanyabeauty.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.